Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Meet the Member for the Long Island Elite. My name is Mike Haltman, and I'm the CEO of Hallmark Abstract Service. We are very happy today to be welcoming Aimee Keegan. Now, Aimee is part of ACLD, and she will go into a little bit about what that means, what she does there, and I could probably tell you what the acronym means, but I think I'll leave that to Aimee. So, without any further ado, welcome Aimee Keegan.
Thank you so much for having me.
Love having you. So, tell us a little bit about. So, ACLD stands for what?
So it's adults and children with learning and developmental disabilities.
Okay. Now, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that. So what we do is we provide services and programs for children and adults across Nassau and Suffolk counties with autism, intellectual, and other developmental disabilities.
Now, explain a little bit how the mission works? Like, how does ACLD find the people who they help? And what form does that help typically take?
Sure. So we have a wide variety of services. So we have preschool services and we have services for adults and children. So depending on the age of the person needing support, whether it's residential services, whether it's early intervention and preschool services, or someone's looking for respite services, or employment opportunities, they have to go through OPWDD's front door. So that is our oversight government agency that regulates services in our field. So
Okay.
there's a whole process for accessing services, but basically we receive people through that. And then obviously for the younger kids, it comes in through referrals through school districts and things like that.
So now for the younger kids, you have facilities that they come to each day.
We have 2 preschools in Bayshore.
Okay, and now for the adults and older, I guess, teens to young adults, do they come to a facility, or is that where more like a group home comes into play?
So we have residential placements for adults 21 and over. And that is across 43 different homes on Long Island and another 36 apartments located in Nassau and Suffolk County. And people can range in age from 21 all the way through 90 something years old.
Really?
We actually had a resident, she passed unfortunately last year, but she was in our program and actually was 93 years old.
Wow.
She passed. So
Wow.
we run the gamut. It truly is. As long as we can safely support them in place, they remain with us in our residential program.
So how long was she in the same facility, the same house for all of those years? That can't be.
No, she moved around because we're very individualized. So depending on the kind of care that the person needs and what's appropriate, they may have to move out of a home. If, for instance, someone's having mobility issues and they live in a 2-level home,
Right.
and we're not able to accommodate them to maintain them in the home, or it's no longer appropriate, then they would have to move to another house that maybe is only 1 level.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely does. So you've been with ACLD since 2015, I believe?
Yes, going on 7 years.
Wow. So now my understanding is that you wear 2 separate hats at ACLD?
I wear many hats.
But officially, so let me just make sure I get this right. Director of Development and Community Relations and ACLD Foundation Director.
Yes.
So now just describe a little bit about what you do in each one of those roles.
Sure. So in the first role, in Director of Development and Community Relations, basically that's just a fancy way of saying that I am in charge of the out-facing image of the agency. So I handled the public relations, the marketing, social media, everything that falls under that umbrella of communications. And there is a portion of fundraising that falls under ACLD only. And then with my other hat, I also handle the ACLD Foundation, whose sole purpose is to raise funds for the benefit of ACLD. So that's the other part of my job, where I get to do fundraising events, planned giving, all of those types of fundraising initiatives.
And then you do whatever else needs to be done. I'm guessing from what you said that you do wear many more than just two hats.
Yes, I also, in my department, we also oversee the community trust of people with special needs. So that's another hat.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It is.
And it's not a surprise then that I was recently at an event, the Long Island Business News Diversity and Business Awards, where you were one of the honorees. And it definitely does not come as a surprise that you were part of that event. So what did that recognition mean to you?
It meant a great deal to have the opportunity to have something that you're very passionate about and something that you advocate for every day was really very special. And to have the support of my ACLD family and my LIE family there was really wonderful too.
No, you know what? You're obviously loved at both. So that's a testament to you and the work that you do. So you've been in the not-for-profit world for some time.
Mhm.
What drew you to the not-for-profit space? And I think you've been in the same general type of mission prior and now.
Yes. So before I was here, I was at another agency where I also did the public relations and communications and a piece of the fundraising. And I was there for 11 years with the same mission, supporting people with special needs. And it's funny because this was not how I envisioned my life would turn out when I graduated and was waiting to start my life. I actually had gone to school to become a reporter. And so my first job was actually being a newspaper reporter in a small county in Georgia.
Wow.
So I was in my very early 20s. I moved down there. And I realized, as much as I loved telling people stories and writing about them, I really did not love where I was doing it. So I found an opportunity to come back to New York. And I fell into public relations at that point in time, working for a hospital. And then moved around a little bit. I did some time working at a nursing home out in Suffolk County. And it gave me the opportunity to tell people stories. And that was the best part about what I missed about reporting, was sitting there and getting to know people and understand a little bit more about people who were in their late 80s and 90s who were at a nursing home, but had lived this entire life before they ever got to that point.
Right.
Really fascinated me. But it was also a very sad aspect because you would get to know people and then they would pass on. So there was an opening at another agency, and I thought, this is something I'd like to try. I've never worked with people with special needs, and I'd like to try it. And so I landed that job, and my first weekend there, I had to cover a Special Olympics event, and I got media coverage for it. And it was such an inspiring moment to be there as these athletes won their medals and won their events, and just to be a part of it and be able to tell a portion of their story. I was hooked from that point forward.
You know what, that is a great and inspirational story. And it's nice to find there are people who like to actually give back as a lifelong mission, which is terrific. You don't necessarily find that often. So many kudos to you for the work that you do and the skills that you bring to the work that you do. It's fantastic.
It's gratifying work.
Well, that's, you know what, that's, at the end of the day, that's pretty much all you can ask for. So you're doing good for people, and that's great. So thank you for what you do. But let me also ask you this. So how did you come upon Long Island Elite?
So we were very lucky that a few years back, we worked with PMG, Gary Cucci, who's obviously worked very closely with our organization for many years. He had submitted our name for a charity partnership, and we missed out twice. And then the third time, we were able to secure the partnership for that year. And so that was the first introduction to the Long Island Elite, was when we were the charity partner in 2018. And we were actually, at the time, the most successful charity partner, raising, they raised over 100,000 for us. I think it was exactly 105,000.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's been incredible to see from the sidelines how every year it goes up, and you see other valuable nonprofits also, benefiting from the charity.
No question. So Long Island Elite. So I was originally introduced to Long Island Elite when I was already too old to be a member, when it was 40 and under. But, I did recognize the value of part of the group's mission, which is to raise a significant amount of money for a Long Island focused charity, which is really, again, $100,000 donation is not insignificant money. That for a lot of organizations, that could be 10% or whatever the metric is. I mean, that's a huge amount of money for a 501c3. So, I mean, I think the group does great work. But so you spent time the year that ACLD was the charity partner, coming to meetings, meeting people?
Yes, I think we really took the mission of LIE and our own mission and really melded the two together. We understood the value of being in an organization like this, and as a nonprofit, having an opportunity to build relationships for things that could go on beyond the initial year of the charity partnership.
And that's been the case. You're still there. You're still with the group. I know there's a great fundraiser coming up soon that this year I'll try not to be the first one who's out, but a charity poker event at the Bethpage Golf Course Clubhouse.
Yes, Poker for a Purpose. It raises funds for our vacation fund for those in our group homes who don't have the funds to be able to participate in a vacation with the rest of their housemates. They can now, thanks to the event.
And so, although you're no longer the charity partner of the year, LIE, the members, the group itself still works to support those charities that have been through in the past.
They do. And I think a lot of that is because we and I invested time in getting to know people. And as a natural progression, getting to know people, you start to build a relationship with them, and then the business flows from that point. So we've done a lot of business in the group. And so we've also built a lot of relationships, and a lot of people have come to different events, beyond poker, whether it's golf, whether it's our gala or a limitless luncheon. People have built those relationships, and so they support our mission because now they fully understand our mission and are glad to do that.
So that brings us to the other side of LIE, which is, for those who are not in a not-for-profit, or for those who aren't a not-for-profit, it's the networking, it's the relationship building, it's the potential that business can be done between members. It's the classic know, like, trust of networking, where you build relationships, you get to know people, and then anything can happen. So you see yourself staying with LIE into the future, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. I said it from the moment I went to the first meeting. I think at the time, Mike Stern was the president. I had shared with him that I had been to other networking groups, and this one was so different from the outset. You didn't feel like people were pushing their business cards in your hand, trying to get business. It was all about building a relationship and getting to know people. And that's what sets LIE apart from a lot of other.
100%. And you know what? It's it's a fairly high level. Each person who's in the group seems to be a very high level, both individually and business-wise. So you can feel comfortable with the people that you're networking with. So it's a great situation, and I'm glad you're a member, and I'm glad you'll continue to be a member, and I'm glad that I met you there.
Yes, and I'm glad we've been able to do business together too.
Absolutely. So listen, this was great. I really appreciate you coming on. I hope it wasn't, I hope I wasn't too tough on you.
No, you are fabulous. Thank
Okay,
you so much
terrific.
for having me on.
Absolutely. And I look forward to having you back again.
Great, anytime.
All
Thank
right,
you so
Aimee, you
much.
take care.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.